Hey everyone, this is Grim, and welcome back to part 2 of the PTSD screen. Part 1 we covered avoidance. Today we're going to cover reenactments. And yeah, 2 videos in 2 days. Look out. We'll see how long I can keep this up. So, reenactments. It's broken down into 4 categories. Flashbacks of traumatic event, nightmares of the event, flooding, being overwhelmed by feelings or memories, and overreacting to situations that resemble the event or reenacting or reacting in self-defeating ways. Those are the 4 different categories. So we'll start with flashbacks of the traumatic event. For me, the event-specific flashbacks didn't start until probably last February, thereabouts, and then it was just little flashes, and then over time they became more and more involved, and I was really concerned about these because they felt like memories, not like a false memory. I was concerned enough that I even asked my therapist if the VA approved of hypnotherapy. And we were about to get that set up when all the pieces fell into place, and I didn't need the hypnotherapy then. So, but the event-specific ones, yeah, those are fun. You're just kind of riding along, sitting in the car, hopefully not driving. Luckily, I wasn't, and it all came rushing back. And I was gone for, I don't know how long I wasn't in that car, but I was actually back in Germany, experiencing the bombing. And when I came back, it was kind of disturbing. Now, prior to that, back in the 80s, I was having, I guess, little mini flashbacks where I'd be walking down the street, a car would backfire, and my buddies would be pulling me out from underneath a parked car. Or, a jogger would be running up behind me, and I would go into a panic because, why is this person, why are they attacking me? And then, I turn and, dude's dancing up into the yard. Whoa, hey! And I'm in the fight stance ready to go. But, yeah, flashbacks are no fun. Don't recommend them. Nightmares of the event, that's part 2 of this. The nightmares suck. I don't necessarily have them. I may have them while I'm sleeping, but I don't recall them. Normally I get attacked by the nightmares where you're kind of in that limbo state where you're not quite asleep, not quite awake. You feel sleep coming on, you're like, oh, here it comes, yay, I'm going to go to sleep. And then, bam, the world explodes and there's bodies and cars flying everywhere. It's all kinds of bad. Flooding, being overwhelmed by feelings or memories. That one, it's when the flashbacks are hitting. That's when the flooding hits me. Being overwhelmed by feelings and memories. A lot of times, what I will do, like my daydreamy moments, I will think back to times in my life where I should have done something different, or something was done to me, or certain events, and I basically relive those events. That's why I play a lot of video games. Try to read a lot. Try to keep myself mentally active as often as possible. I try not to let my, a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to relax and sit and stare at the clouds. I can't do that. I do that, and I tend to go places I ought not go. The brain wanders down those dark paths that I really shouldn't be wandering down. Usually I'll come out of an episode like that just furious or guilt-ridden over something that happened. That's why I try to keep myself busy. That way there I don't have to deal with that. Hey, avoidance in our first one. Overreacting to situations that resemble the event or reacting in self-defeating ways. Well, yeah, there's a lot of overreaction. I tend to blow things out of proportion. Um, I some for a goodly amount of the time, I expect more out of people than they're capable of giving. Um, I just This goes back to my first video where I talk about disappointment. Something happens that I don't like, that I don't agree with, that I find wrong. I become disappointed. I become frustrated in the person. Generally, if it's a situation where like a shit happens kind of thing, I generally roll with those pretty good. But if I can put a finger on the person who caused the event or who allowed the event to take place, that's when things kind of get stupid. Um, because now I have a target. I have a target for my, frustration, for my anger, for my disappointment. If, like I said, if it's just a shit happens kind of thing, then, shit happens. There's not much you can do about it. Tree falls on the car. Who do you blame? Well, nobody, unless it's been discussed where don't park the car there because that tree's rotten and it's going to fall. Oh, okay. Well, we need to cut the tree down. Well, if we don't cut the tree down and then we park the car there and it falls, well, whoever parked the car there, that's who's to blame. If it's one of those things where the tree falls and nobody knew that it was bad, okay, that's a shit happens. There's degrees of blame, and overreacting to situations, I tend to get a little testy at times over things that probably, in hindsight, you kind of look back and go, I really didn't need to scream like that or stomp my feet or, whatever infantile, reaction I had to whatever situation. But, it's one of those where, there's a wrong committed, and you don't want this wrong to ever be committed again, so you make the biggest, meanest, nastiest display that you can to hopefully get it through some thick skulls not to do it again. And unfortunately, all you accomplish by basically informing people of how inconsiderate, nasty, whatever, by informing people of what you really think of them, all you do is drive a wedge between you and them. And it's only really what you think of them at that time. You know, 9 times out of 10, you what such and such does not bother you. But on the 10th time, well, you're just like, that's it. I've had enough. Enough's enough. Stop it. And don't ever do it again because you're wrong. You're wrong. Don't do it. Now, people don't want to hear that. You hurt feelings and people whine and cry, and then, it's just all bad. My tolerance for bullshit is very low. And I have a tendency to, enunciate that. I just don't care. It's just how it is, I guess. That's reenactments. You get your flashbacks of the traumatic event. In my case, the bombing of the PX in Frankfurt. Nightmares of the event. For me, they come as I'm falling to sleep. Flooding, being overwhelmed by feelings or memories. If I let my mind go idle, it's over. I'm a mess. Overreacting to situations that resemble the event or reacting in self-defeating ways. For me, it doesn't even need to resemble the event. Just anything that I perceive as a wrong. Um, there's, I'm trying to be more positive, I guess, more understanding of others, and try to explain my side before I reach out and tag somebody upside the head. But it is what it is. So that's reenactments. Our next stop is going to be victim stance thinking, and that's an interesting one. That one really tells you a lot about yourself. So, all right, I will talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this, or at least learned a little something. If nothing else, you learned a little bit about me. So I will talk to you soon, and have a wonderful day.